Patience here this morning as we get set on this week coming up for you. We have a jam-packed week. I know I tell you all the time, but this week is going to be full of specials and so many different things going on with so many wonderful people. I am ecstatic to be here with you inside of the Cafe Kubal studios where sports meets that thing called life. And Cafe Kubal coming to you on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street in Syracuse, as well as on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, in their double-decker cafe, and you'll find them on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in their drive-through location in North Syracuse, right by the airport. So make sure when you pick up those loved ones from the airport, you drive them right over to Cafe Kubal, get them some Central New York flavor right off the jump, and let them have themselves a great time experiencing what it's like to support Central New York and support our local businesses here in the community. So with that being said, happy to have you here on Facebook.com, YouTube.com, and MixLR.com, all /Wake Up Call DT, and of course on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage and on Facebook.com /LiveNowDT. So a lot of different ways to tune into the broadcast, and however you're doing it, we thank you so much for being a part of the show, and we have an awesome show set up for you today. Many a guest will be joining me inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. Starting off with Travon Burke's going to be joining me here in a second. Syracuse Orange walk-on that found his way onto this team and built his hay with this team. Love his story and going to have him share it today. Played linebacker, running back, fullback. Travon Burke here with me this morning inside of the Cafe Kubal studios to talk about his time at Cuse, as well as a 2-0 start to the 2022 season and what he thinks about what he's seeing on tape for this team this season. And then between 10 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time in hour number 2, you're going to hear from Jaro Zawislan, the interim head coach for Moyne College's women's soccer team, as him and I had a conversation right on the field following their game over the weekend. So you'll hear from Jaro, and keep in mind they have a game coming up this Tuesday, September 13th, that I hope to see you all at. So Jaro will be joining me, followed by Nick Dimitrievski, as I met him on the field for a video special with the Bryant Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse men's soccer head coach and reigning national champion, who has won back-to-back national championships with his men's soccer team in 2019 and 2021, as there was no competition in 2020. So Nick will be joining the show between 10 and 10:30, and we'll round out the show with Joe Adam, who's a former offensive line coach at Syracuse, who has spent many years at St. Anselm building up the Hawks Division II program inside of the NE10, and that team is also 2-0, and we'll be talking about building, what it means to know that something's not going to happen overnight, and the blood, sweat, and tears that go into that, as well as the faith that goes into that, and truly being a family. So Joe Adam will be rounding out the show to start off this week on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Good morning to everybody out there, and a big shout out to each and every single one of you in Central and Upstate New York, around the country and the world, that are tuning into the broadcast. And with that being said, it is my honor and privilege to welcome back Syracuse alum all the time, and Travon Burke being one of them. And let's bring him in. Travon, how you doing today?
I'm good, Dan. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, man. And we were talking about it off the air, and I'm excited for you with this. Your little man is playing some flag football, and you said that, hey, I didn't push him into it. He chose to do it. So I'd love for you to share with us all, before we get into anything else, just how little man's doing, and to share with everybody that doesn't know his name and kind of his little mini beginning to his career, so to speak, maybe in football.
Okay, well, my little man, he got the same name as me, Travon Burke Jr. And like I said, yeah, he did not want to do football because of me. He just wanted to do it because of himself. I never really talked about it with him, until he showed interest in it, and he just gravitated towards it, man. And him and his flag football team, the Valley Stallions, shout out to them. They've been rocking for the past 2 years, man, and we building a family down there. It's kind of hard for me to build a family with Valley because I play for a different team, and they was kind of our rivals growing up. But I have a lot of family that played, and they wanted my son to come down there, so it was only right that I brought him down there, and they showing him the game, man, and I really appreciate it, man. And he's doing really good. He loves it, man. So that's how he got into it, just by default. He just wanted to do it.
Yeah, and that's awesome. Travon Burke this morning speaking here with us on Travon Burke Jr., his son who's gotten into the sport of football and having some fun with that and getting out there and enjoying that. And you know, I mean, as a father, you know what this game has been. You know the blood, sweat, and tears. You know what it does on the body. You know what it brings to your life that can be beautiful. You know what it's like to lose a game, and it can be heartbreaking. So I know that your son is young, and I know that there's a long way to go for him in this respect. But when you look at the sport of football and everything that it gave to you, and all of those adverse moments where things hurt and it was tough and whatnot, what type of knowledge do you impart on your son, as he grows up? Maybe not right now, right? Just let him play the game and do whatever, but you know what this game has brought to you, and you know how much it's challenged you. So when you look at your little man, what do you think about the fact of those lessons that you can teach him? What are some of those things that have stuck out in your time playing that you can impart on him and kind of, take him aside and say, hey, this is what the game taught me?
Like it teaches them, like, how to work with different people, man. Like for me, like it definitely taught me a lot of patience, man, because you never know. Like, football is up and down. Like, you might be doing good one day, and then the next day you might be doing terrible, and you still gotta keep going. You can't give up, and that's what I try to teach him. Because in a moment yesterday, he was like, this was his real first dog fight he had to be in, and he really was. He was frustrated. He was crying, and I had to get on him because I remember being that way and being hard on myself, and you got to think clear when you in a situation like that, and even in life. So I told him, man, you just got to take a breather. And you got to think, and you got to be there for your teammates because you're the captain. So they are on your back. So you got to make sure that you're all right. You thinking clearly, and you can make the correct moves, man. So get it out, cry or whatever, but let's just time to work.
Yeah, and you talked about not just in football but in life in general. Your emotions run high in different situations, but you have to control yourself, and you have to be able to make good decisions in that. On and off the field, I think that's a terrific message and a fantastic message to start off the week with. And Wake Up Call, yeah, we're a morning show, but it's called Wake Up Call for many other reasons, and hopefully that we could be a wake-up call for people in a lot of different ways. So going off of what you said, I think is a perfect wake-up call of, in a high-octane emotional situation, you have to be able to make good decisions and lead your way through it. Bring me into how you learned that and the importance of, no matter how emotional you are, that you don't let your emotions get the best of you.
Well, I always, like, playing football, I always was in difficult situations. And, coming up, I had an older brother. So, like, he always used to get on me and make sure that I was doing what I had to do, on and off the field. And I at times when I was younger, I battled with, being angry a little bit. So, like, he was like, hey, man, you got to make sure same thing I basically told my son, like, you got to make sure you thinking clearly. You can't be getting frustrated and not be able to perform or go to class like if you fail, you gotta next time you gotta study or you gotta do something different than make the result come out in a different way. So you can't get too frustrated. And I learned that by being in school and being in football and being around good people, because it's easy to give up and be hard on yourself, but at the end of the day, that's not getting you nowhere. And, that's how I pretty much learned it, nothing too crazy, but just having people, big brother and big cousins and stuff like that, my parents, just to teach me that in a difficult situation.
Yeah, and when emotions run high, even today, Travon, in anything in life, how do you kind of, talk your way through it and get your way through it? Because it seems like in today's world, so many people are on edge, people are upset, people feel comfortable yelling at total strangers. So how do you control emotions in today's world? What do you do to talk your way through it, to be focused in the middle of chaos? Because something that I brought in on Friday was an acronym I created of peace, and it was personal evolution amidst chaotic environment. So how do you evolve in chaos?
Well, right now, I just try to take a breather, and I just try to think clearly. Like, okay, man, you gotta think, man, before you react, because being a young man, some young men do not think before they react to anything. So I think I talk over with myself before I react to it, because at times I used to lash out, yell, and all that. It don't get you nowhere but a headache. So I don't want that headache anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I just try to, just think, get myself together. If I have to walk away, and, just take that time to really evaluate myself and make sure I'm doing the right thing too, because it could be my fault while I'm upset or whatever. Just being a bigger person, and I just try to just get my thoughts, gather my thoughts together, man, and that's what I've been, always practicing for a long time, just gathering my thoughts and just thinking clearly.
And coming from Travon Burke, imparting some great knowledge this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life, and always happy to celebrate all the wonderful people that have been a huge part of our community, including Travon. And to look at this season, to shift gears back to football, Travon, team is 2-0. They start things off in the Dome. It's the first time in 6 years that Syracuse started off the season at home. It had 5 straight seasons on the road, and now starting off the season at home, and we get to see them in the Dome. I was there, 31-7. They win the game against Louisville, against a team where Scott Satterfield has won all of his games against Dino, 3-0 going into that matchup. Now Dino has one against Scott Satterfield, and so you see that Louisville against Syracuse since 2005. Every year they play each other, except for 2013 when Syracuse moved out of the Big East to the ACC, and Louisville stayed in what became the American for a year before they shifted over. So we've seen them play almost every single year since 2005. Typically, Louisville's had Syracuse's number. Syracuse comes out, wins the game, gets an ACC victory, a victory in division, a victory to start the season, a victory at home, and then go on the road to UConn, take care of business, blow out the Huskies 48-14, and are now on their way back to the Dome to play Purdue this weekend on Saturday, September 17th at noon Eastern time at 2-0. Your thoughts on what the team has looked like so far?
They're looking pretty good, man. Everybody look healthy. Everybody look like they know what they're doing, and they look like they're having fun out there, man. And, being a part of that, I understand, like, when you're going to have your down years, you're going to have your downtime or whatever, but as long as y'all keep fighting together for each other, that's all that really matters, and that's what them guys doing, and I'm very, very proud of them, man. I couldn't be more proud to be a Syracuse alum right now. This is everybody like, oh man, where you gonna go to a game, or can I come with you? Like, no, keep that same energy you guys had before we put it together. Now we got it together, and that's all they need is each other, and that's what it's showing. And they got that chemistry, and they doing what they need to do. They doing what we expected them to do.
Yeah, and like you said, doing what you expected them to do. A lot of people haven't had high expectations of this football program. Why do you continue to stay high with them and believe in them? Like you said, they're doing what we expected them to do. Why do you expect greatness from a team that, nationally people have not always thought highly of in recent years?
Because the difference is, I'm not just a fan. I was actually there, and I seen the program get built. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I was there, I was in the locker room, I was in the meeting rooms, I seen the potential in us all the time. And, and like we used to always say, why not us? You know what I'm saying? Like, why we can't do it? Why it cannot be us? You see all these other different programs that was struggling in the beginning, and then they built. And why that can't be Syracuse? You know what I mean? We got the talent. Everybody put on they pads and they pants the same exact way. Why can't it be us? You know what I'm saying? So I never doubted that. Even when we was in our darkest days, or even when I was there and in the past. And it just you just gotta build, and you gotta get that team chemistry, man. And they kept fighting, and you can see it over the years. But we doing it now, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, and I told the fans, and I'll say it again, and I will say it all week long. And my statement was after this past. After we saw what Syracuse did against Louisville, I said, listen, okay, 31-7, they get the victory. There was a good amount of fans. Allegedly, I think the number was around 37,000. And I've been saying for years upon years upon years, the Dome hasn't been the Dome, and it frustrates me because as a kid growing up, I lived amongst. I was I didn't look at it then as being spoiled because I thought the Dome was going to be like this forever. But my dad would sit right next to me, and I tell the story all the time. We were at a game. We were behind the goalpost on the 300 level. My dad was sitting right next to me in the stands. I couldn't hear him. Asked him to repeat himself three to five times because I couldn't hear him, even though he was talking to me. It was so loud I couldn't hear his mouth next to my ear. And I tell people all the time I want that. And on that first game against Louisville, it was the closest to that feeling that I've had. And we're talking about, I haven't felt that in over a decade. And hearing that noise and that volume where your ears start to get a little bit muffled, I was like, oh my God, yes. Like, and my dad was, oh, good game. And I said, Dad, it sounded like then, and he agreed because I guess you could hear it, when you were sitting at home and whatnot, people could hear how loud it was. And I said, if they, after that game, getting to that point where they started to get loud to the point where you can't like hear yourself think, I said, if they go and they take care of business and they blow out UConn, there's no reason why there shouldn't be at least 40,000 people in the Dome. I want 42 plus. We fill out at 49 plus. So I think there's absolutely no reason why people shouldn't pack this Dome. As a player who played in the Dome, what do you want to say about the Dome experience? And what do you want to say to the fans about why they should pack the heck out of this place over the weekend?
Because the fans really don't realize how much involvement that you guys have in the Dome. Like, when you guys are in the game and you rocking with us, that shuts the other team down, man. Like, they don't understand. Like, everybody doesn't have a Dome. So, like, when you hear all that noise and you feel that heat and all of that coming from the fans, and that really just does something to the other team, something that we are used to. And when I miss the money down and the train sound. I miss all of that, man. And like, when you hearing all that and the fans is involved and you standing up and you cheering, you screaming, that does a lot for us, and it shuts the other team down. But it really pumps us up and make us want to perform for you guys. So, like, you guys is just as important as our sideline, as our trainers, as everybody that's involved in the Cuse community as far as football. Y'all are just as involved as us as the team. So just come on, just rock with us, man. We need it. We need it.
Yeah, and you said it. You said how involved they become in a Dome, in a unique situation, in a contained, enclosed situation. What that sounds like, you can't even hear yourself think, is what I say over and over and over again. So to just to share that with the fans, like what that does for you as a player. Did you have a game or two or a moment or two that you could look back at Syracuse where you felt like the fans were so involved that it just got you hype on the field?
I believe my first time, because growing up here, I always wanted to play in a Dome, and unfortunately, I never made it to the Dome until I played in the All-Star game. But it wasn't the Dome experience. So when I first got the Dome experiences, I came in 2011, and our opening game was against Wake Forest, and the Dome was packed. Like, I'd never seen this many people in my life. And I think I had a moment where I ran out the tunnel and I'm like, oh my God, I'm really here. Like this is really college football. This is really the dome, and this is what it should look like. And I kind of like froze like at the tunnel, like just looking at the amazement. Like, oh my God, like all these people was looking at me and my brothers. Like, something that I thought I'd never experienced, and that was the game now that really had me, and that really made me be like, okay, this is what it's supposed to be like. And the fans was involved, and we had a good game, man. That game, and it was just a fun experience, man. And I like to this day, even thinking about it, get me goosebumps because I never seen that many people looking at me or people that I'm involved with in my life. So it was just like, whoa, like,
Yeah, and that feeling, and for you, it's got to be special. And I talk about this all the time: the importance of recruiting locally, bringing people in. I know you came in to 2011 preseason camp as a walk-on and earned your keep, but coming from Syracuse, New York, I mean, this is your home. You grow up, you bleed orange, you go to the Dome, like you said. Coming from Corcoran and whatnot, I feel that it is imperative. And I tell people that, and I don't know why anybody would fight me on this because it's insane. It's like you're fighting me trying to promote local kids. But I know the team is going to be made up of a bunch of people from different backgrounds, different places, and different parts of the country, some of them out of the country. But there's no reason why you can't have a few student athletes in a roster that's got 85 scholarships plus walk-ons to come from Central and Upstate New York, because there's definitely talent here. Being someone who put on that orange and blue jersey, put on that orange helmet, that hails from Syracuse and played high school here locally at Corcoran, what will that always mean to you, and how important is it for the student athletes, the kids of this community, to know that Syracuse is looking at them and that they have an actual viable chance of playing on the team that they've cheered on their whole life?
It means a lot. It's an honor, it's really an honor to be able to, say I was a part of that, you know what I mean? And coming from Corcoran, we had a couple of guys that, went on and played D1 football, but, we probably knew a few of them, but like to personally know, like we came up in the same neighborhood and played for the same Pop Warner team, and to see a guy like me make it pretty much, like, and sometimes I get down on myself because things didn't go my way, like, and I really get down on myself. But when I snap back too, people they just appreciate that. They know a guy like me that actually experienced it. I can tell them that I played in front of this many people. I played against this person that's in the NFL that won MVP and all that. And it's like, man, like if I can do it, you can do it, and it just shine a light on a person that's coming up just like me, that played for Kirk Park and went to Corcoran, and that really don't believe in themselves and stuff like that. And you can do it, man. Like, just keep fighting, keep grinding, man. And now I'm like, me being there, I wish I could have took more advantage of it. I kind of got down on myself because of how I got there, but it is what it is. I was there, but it just was. It's a blessing, and I thank God every day that I was able to get to Syracuse, play 4 years. I was healthy, and then if it wasn't for Syracuse, I wouldn't have, the brothers that I have today. I still talk to a whole bunch of my teammates. A lot of my teammates I still talk to, like my roommate, Ryan Sloan, shout out to him. He's my kid's godfather, both of my sons. So, like, I got brotherhoods that I would never break up, or I never lose because of that place. And, if I can do it, you can do it. Just keep grinding, keep working, keep listening to your teachers, your parents, whoever, and it's gonna come in due time. Just believe in yourself.
Yeah, I love it this morning, Travon, and I'm so happy that you're here on the show, because I mean, we're talking about football, we're talking about the successes of Syracuse, but you're saying things this morning, and I mean this truly, because I am who I say I'm on and off the air. you're bringing genuine, like, I got them, and I feel that. I have like tears in the back of my eyes right now because the messages that you're saying, like, believe in yourself, love yourself, and you being honest. Like, I got down on myself, I was hard on myself, and I met my brothers here, I met my family, Ryan Sloan, the godfather to your two sons, and to just keep going, keep pushing, keep believing that you can do it. I mean, there's so many good messages that you're sharing right now, and I have to ask you, where does it come from? Where does this faith and this belief and this strength come from, that you're able to not only go through things in life, go through adversity, but to not only learn lessons, but to be comfortable enough this morning to share those lessons with people?
Well, my household, man. My parents, my big brother. Now, my wife Ashley and my kids, man. Like they all motivate me. They all drive me, man. And if, like I said, if it wasn't for that place, man, I wouldn't have my brothers that I have, man. And I have a great relationship with them. I wouldn't have the wife that I have. I met my wife in college. I wouldn't have my kids. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a lot of stuff that I gained from that, and that's what pushes me. That's what gives me the faith. Because when I first got to Cuse, I didn't have the faith. I didn't trust nobody. I had trust issues. I didn't want to be friends with nobody. I just wanted to do what I had to do and hopefully go to the NFL. And that's not the case, man. I feel like I got something better than that. This is a lifetime journey. Like, I have beautiful kids, a beautiful wife, my brothers, man, and and it's just a beautiful thing, man. I met some amazing coaches that was like father figures to us up there, like. Even regular students, man. I still talk to a lot of people from there, man, and they all just drove me, man, and that's what drives me and gives me the faith that I have today.
Yeah, and like you said, surrounding yourself with good people, and you didn't have that, and you got that, and you found a way. You said being at Syracuse that, you were kind of down on yourself and hard on yourself and whatnot. And, was that coming through, being a walk-on? What was it that was difficult for you coming in that you felt like, mentally was maybe a hurdle that you had to jump while you were at Syracuse?
Well, I knew I was better than what I showed. Everybody, around here pretty much know who I am, and I expected big things for me. But that was my problem. Like, when I got to Syracuse and I got there, and I was, don't get me wrong, I worked hard and I did what I had to do at times, but I didn't have that grind and that hunger because I was just so worried about the outside stuff. I was worried about, if somebody likes me, like if the coach liked me and that, or if people see me that's like, from home, and are they proud of me and stuff like that. So at times I wasn't really focused on why I was there. And that kind of ticked me off to this day. I wasn't there. I wasn't what the hunger, me coming from Corcoran, the hunger I had coming from Corcoran, then leading on to Milford Academy, then going to Syracuse University. I didn't have that hunger that I once had, and I kind of just gave up, man. Like, my teammates would tell you, like, they had talks. I used to sit in my locker sometime and just cry about it. It's like, dang, man, I'm not good enough, man. Like, they not trying to give me a scholarship. I'm not good enough. The coaches don't like me. Do my teammates like me? But, I had some teammates that came up to me. Some coaches came up to me, man, keep going, keep being you, man. And, I had my times when I did, do what I had to do, but, it just always in the back of my mind, like, I'm better than this. But I was just so hard on myself, and it just distracted me from my goal. And, I can say I gave up, and I can say that now, and I can admit that now. But at the time, going through it, it was just like I was there physically, but mentally I was not there, and it was a whole lot of things going on that I probably won't speak about, but it was a lot going on at the time, man. And I was just, finding myself as a man, not just a football player, as a young man.
Yeah, and I love that, Travon. I love that that you shared that. You know, I talk about stuff on the show all the time, and I feel like some people be like, why would you share that you've been bullied? Why would you share that you were down on yourself? Why would you share that you went through divorce? Why would you share all this stuff? And I'm like, because people see people succeeding, they see people like happy, they see people doing good things, and they think like, oh, I can't get there. And I feel like we have to tell people, hey, there was a time where I wasn't okay. There was a time where I wanted to disappear. There was a time where I didn't feel good about myself. There was a time where this world got to me. And, you know, to show, because somebody listening and watching this morning may be in that time right now. They may be in that place right now, and they may feel like they can't get out of it. To the people that are watching and listening around the world that are maybe right now in that moment, crying at a locker, thinking they're not good enough, sitting at home, you know, going through a divorce, lost a job, didn't make the team, whatever it may be, what would be your advice to the people out there right now that are listening to this show saying, Dan, Travon, I'm not going to make it?
Hey, young man, young woman, adult, anybody, don't give up. Just keep going, keep grinding, keep following your dream. Whatever your dream is, you're never too old, you're never too young. If you want it, you dreaming it, attack your dream. Keep going, man, because if you don't put your 110% effort in it, you're gonna regret it. And I live in regret all the time, but I still like, man, okay, I did it, but now this is the time to, talk to my youth under me and tell them like, hey, man, I was there, man, and I shared that I was there, but I wasn't there, and you don't want to get to that point. You know what I'm saying? So just keep doing what you're doing and have fun while you're doing it, man. Like, stop taking stuff so serious all the time and not remembering to have fun with it. You gotta have fun to to be successful. You know what I mean? Not saying like you playing around and stuff like that, but just enjoy life while you're doing what you love to do. And just keep going. Do not give up. You're gonna regret it. Just don't give up.
Travon Burke here this morning, Syracuse native, Syracuse Orange alum, and an alum of Corcoran High School as well, spreading some very much needed knowledge this morning. Knowledge I need to hear, wisdom that anybody out there, I hope you're taking it in and appreciating it. Travon, you've played on the defensive side, you played on the offensive side. I'm going to throw some numbers at you here for Syracuse. Looking at this 2-0 start, they are 12 of 22 on third down, 6 for 11 on third down in both games, better than 50%. They are 100% in the red zone, 10 for 10. Started off the season 4 for 4 in game number 1, one of those being a field goal. In game 2, 6 for 6, all of those being touchdowns. Syracuse is +5 in the turnover margin, forcing 5 turnovers and having none of their own. So when I read you those numbers, those moments, those pieces, and the fact that Syracuse has only punted the ball away 5 times in 8 quarters over 2 games, what are your thoughts?
That's amazing. That's amazing, man. And that's just coming from hard work, practice, taking it serious, having fun doing it. That's it, man. That's all it. That's where it comes from. It ain't nothing. It's football. At the end of the day, no matter who you playing, you're playing football, man. They enjoying it, and they look like they're enjoying it. The coaches, they in it. Everybody in it, man. And we just need the fans to be in it, just as well, man. That's all it is. Just keep grinding, fellas. I'm proud of y'all.
Travon Burke. Travon, how would you describe coming from this community, and what is this community of Central and Upstate New York? What does it mean to you when you wake up in the morning and you breathe in the air? What words are fitting to describe our community?
I love my community, and that's why one of the reasons why I stayed home, and wanted to, give back, and I wanted to show them that a person like me can go up to that university, man. And it's a beautiful thing. We got a lot of stuff to clean up. It's not perfect, but at the end of the day, we got a lot of good leaders out there, man. And I want to be a part of that leadership, and I might be now. You know what I mean? But we got a lot of stuff to do, but we need to support each other more, and leave the negative stuff behind, and let's work, man. Let's clean this stuff up, man, and let's get to work.
And
this community means a lot to me, man.
what is it that you're doing now to share with everybody, just kind of what your life is now, and how you give back, and what your day-to-day is to try and make sure that you are being a positive part of our community here and beyond?
Well, right now, for the past 4.5 years, I've been working at Hillbrook Detention Center, and I basically work with the kids that the world gives up on, man, and they don't look at you humans. They don't look at them like humans no more because of the things that they did, and not hearing their story, their backstory, man, and to hear some of these kids' story, man, is really mind-boggling, and it's sad. And sometimes, I cry from some of the stories that I hear that kids was going through in the community that I came up in. Like, so I try to, make sure I go to work every day with a smile on my face, and, be around the kids, laugh with them, joke with them, just be myself with them, share my life stories. Just hopefully that I can give them some light, because you're dealing with real deal kids, man, and people that gave up on them, man. And I just want to give them kids. That's where it start at, man. And it start from, the bottom. This is how you save lives, man. Like a lot of kids done went off to different facilities, and they call back to Hillbrook, and they ask to talk to certain people, and I'm one of them, man. And I just try to make sure that I'm there for them, and then on the other note, I go to my son games, and his friends love me, and I talk to them about life, football, and play with them and stuff like that. So I try to, as much as I can, I try to be in the community as much as I can.
Travon Burke here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. Syracuse native and a Syracuse Orange alum, Corcoran alum. And you just shared that your job for over 4 years now at a detention center is to be there for the people that the world has given up on, families have given up on. Number one, Travon, above all things, you have more than made an effect on me. And I know you've touched somebody's life because you touched mine this morning. Being in the job that you're in and doing what you do, being one of the people that doesn't give up on these kids and says, hey, as long as you're alive, you got a chance to go in the right direction. What inspired you to do it? And what can you tell me about what you get from being a person that maybe is the only person in a bunch of these people's lives that will not turn their back on them?
Well, what inspired me to do it, man, I could have been one of them kids, man. I lost a lot of friends growing up, and still losing a lot of friends to this day. And, that really, really affected me. And it was a part of the reason why I was so hard on myself, just wanting to make it out. And, I just want to, make them kids feel like they matter, and they do matter. It's not over because you got this many years where these people judged you. Stop showing these people don't know you, man. They look at a paper and they see things about you, and they just judge you off of that. Like they don't know the hurt that's in you. They don't know the goodness that's in you. Like we had kids up there that knew how to draw. They knew how to articulate words and stuff like that. Learn how to play sports in the facility. So like you got a lot of greatness in you, man. And that inspired me to go there every day and just save kids, man. Like I even had kids there that, harmed some of my friends or did things to friends that I know, and I kind of had to, put that to the side and still work with this guy. At the end of the day, there's still a young man, young woman that need my help, and I'm not gonna judge them off of what they did. I'm gonna get to know the person, and I'm gonna work with them, and I'm gonna give them the best me that I can give them, man. So that's what inspired me, man. And I just wanted to change the world and change, the judgment of people that's incarcerated, you know what I'm saying, or people that's growing up in the impoverished neighborhoods, man. It's a lot of great people that's there, and it's just a lot, I get emotional about it, man, because I done heard so many stories, man, on how people done gave up on these kids, man, and we got, as a community, we got to do better, man, and we got to show these kids different. So me coming in there, working, and dealing with the stuff that I deal with, don't get me wrong, it be times where I get frustrated in there too, but I come there every day, and it's a challenge. It's just like being on the football field, man. It's a challenge to me, and I accept that challenge. So I go in there and I try to make somebody smile, make somebody laugh. Just being around them. And that's pretty much it, man. That's what sums it up about why I do what I do.
Travon, you said that you have helped people and been there for people that have wronged your friends. Some of the people that you try to help are people that have hurt people that you love. How do you get past that? How do you forgive that? And how do you help someone who hurt someone that you care about?
God, man. That's all I can say. God. Because if it wasn't for God, man, I don't know how I would have did it. It's very hard, man. It's hard, and it's very hard, man. I can't explain how hard it is, but me being a man, a man of the community, having kids of my own, you never know, man, what's going on with these kids, man, and I think it's just better for my mental, for me to forgive someone like that. Like I can't judge nobody. I'm not God. I can't sit there and say, oh man, I don't like this person because he did what he did. Like, no, I don't want to be that way. And I feel like I'm blocking my blessings if I be that way. So it take time, but at the end of the day, that I know what I signed up for. You know what I'm saying? So I just gotta, man up and do what I signed up to do. And I think this is my calling in life, is just to help people and be in uncomfortable situations and make the world a better place.
Yeah, I mean, and this is Travon. Seriously, I honestly, I don't have words. God has sent so many messages my way in these last few days, because my mind it's been really tough dealing with how people can hurt people lately, and I've seen a lot of different angles of it. And talking to you, I feel like, number one, I haven't even seen the half, and number two, these words they're speaking to me. I'm living in it. You're so humble about it, but if God wasn't grabbing me this morning, picking me up and say, Daniel, your life is great, your life is good, it's going to be okay. Look at the people that are out there. Look at the good people that are out there. Hear every word that Travon is saying. And one of the people listening to the show, Greg, longtime listener and supporter, just wrote in. He said, you are providing an incredibly valuable and impactful service to these youth. Extremely difficult job, but beyond rewarding. Thank you, Travon, for making positive change in this difficult service profession. So you just got that message this morning.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Travon Burke here with me, and Travon, listen, before I let you go today, it is imperative for me to, we talk about letting people know you care about them, not turning your back on people, showing love, being positive, living with faith forward, and that brings me to every little bit of that having to do with somebody that passed away in our Syracuse community, and I am I was down in Florida when this happened, and I got a message from Amari Palmer, and Amari had just been on my show. We did our week at Hooters for college and pro football, a preview week, and Amari said, he's like, man, this DMAC thing is like, it's getting at me right now, and I never called him DMAC, I called him Devante, and so I didn't know what he was talking about at first, and there's a rapper called DMAC who had passed away, so I was like, what's DMAC are we talking about? What's going? I was like, that's what I thought, and he said Devante, and I was like, what do you mean Devante? And this is how precious life is. I had and I'm notorious for doing this. I write on everything, and I wrote on an envelope that I wasn't using. I just wrote on the envelope after I'd opened up mail all of the names of these players that I wanted to reach out to from Syracuse, that like see how they're doing, where they are, what they're up to. Can I schedule a show with them? Are they gonna, are they in town? Are they close? Are they down in Florida? Are they up in New York? And Devante was on that list, and I never got to hear about what was going on in Devante's life because I was down in Florida, and I said to myself, I'll get back in touch with these guys when I get back home and whatnot. And then I found out that Devante had passed away. Life is precious. It is incredible, incredibly imperative. And if you're around people that don't appreciate your time and don't celebrate you and don't reach out to you today, leave that where it is. Don't wish bad upon that, but move on. You should not be around people that don't appreciate you. And I always appreciated Devante. I have nothing but good things to say about Devante. I love you all the same. And I would love to hear, I know your time in Syracuse crossed paths with Devante McFarlane, and I am heartbroken that he's not here, and he is one of many that are not here that I feel like left this earth way too soon. So what can you tell me about your relationship with Devante, and what do you learn from Devante's life?
Man, that was my boy, man. That was my guy, man. That really crushed me, man, when I heard the news about Devante, D-Mac, what we call him. We have a group chat, man. Like the running back crew, we all have a group chat, man. So like, we got the message Jerome Smith has sent it. D-Mac was a hard worker, man. He was like me a lot, man. And me and him used to talk a lot, man. Like, especially my time up there, we used to talk about the things that he was going through mentally, the things that I was going through mentally, and we used to lean on each other, man. And and when this happened, man, I always think about them times, man, them hard times, man. But D-Mac he was full of life. He was a happy person, man. He worked hard. He loved the game. He was great, man. Like, it ain't gonna be another one like him, man. And he always reached out to me, speaking out. He always talking about my son, like, man, he gonna be better than you. He gonna do this. He gonna, like, that was really like my little brother, man. Like, all of them guys, man. But just the time with him, man. We shared a lot of memories, man. But that was my guy, man, and I'm really gonna miss Devante, man. Like, it really touched me. I really get emotional about it because, we don't have that much time, to be able to go see each other or check on each other as much because life get in the way. But when we did, it was always genuine. He always was checking on us. Hey, Big Burke, man, how you doing, man? I see your son doing this thing. I'm like, I'm good, man. Like, and like you said, man, you always think that you have time with people and you have, unlimited time because we so young. And you never know, man. And Devante's situation really taught me a lot. So I have been these last couple of weeks since it happened and researching up more of my teammates just to see how everybody's doing mentally, physically, healthy-wise, and just, letting them know that I love them, man, because you never know, man. That was really tough for me, and I'm still, dealing with it, but, it is what it is, and, he know I loved him, and that was like my brother, man.
What type of angel does God get with Devante?
He get a hard worker, man. He get a grinder, man. Like he get good energy, man. That's all Devante brought, man. He was a great kid, man. I love Devante, man. Like I my condolences to his family, man. They lost a good guy, man, and he definitely was a beautiful soul, man. God gained a good angel, man. He gonna have a lot of fun with Devante. He's a funny dude, man. So he's definitely gonna enjoy Devante.
Travon Burke, here with us this morning on Wake Up Call. Travon, I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for, the tagline for Wake Up Call is where sports meets life. And it's my way of saying that, yeah, it's a sports show, but we just use sports as a vehicle to spread the bigger stuff. And that's all you did today. I can't thank you enough for your words about Devante. I can't thank you enough for the words that you have for the community, for people in general. I can't thank you enough for what you're doing in your job day to day. Travon, I can tell you this, that, you will hear from me after this show. We are both in this community and we love this community. I got some thoughts and some ideas that I would love to work on you with, but, listen, I'm your brother in arms and I am more than happy to walk forward with you arm in arm with what we can do to help. I will be in touch. You and I will talk, and I definitely want to get you out there, man. I'm beyond right now. You made if you knew what I have felt inside and what I've been dealing with over the past few months, you did something for me today that you don't even know you did, and I'm healing this morning because of you. So I just want to tell you, and I mean this from my heart, I love you, I appreciate you, and I am so thankful that God crossed our paths, and I really can't wait to talk with you after the show.
Appreciate it. I love you too, man. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me on the show, man. I appreciate it.
Travon Burke, bigger than 2-0, baby. Appreciate you as always. I look forward to talking with you soon. Give my best to the family, to your wife, and to your sons, and you and I will be talking in just a little bit.
All right.
All right, take care.
Take care.
See you. That coming from Travon Burke this morning on Wake Up Call. Wow. God really shows himself. Thank you, Travon. Thank you is an understatement. We will take a step aside here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios and stay faithful, believe in yourself, be good to yourself. Don't ever let someone else's thoughts, opinions, or the way that they treat you affect how you treat yourself and how you love yourself. Just be a good person. And if people don't see that and they don't appreciate that and they don't return your phone calls and text messages and they don't show you love, move forward. Be a good person no matter what anybody does to you. And just know, that's Travon said it, man. He said, listen, you block your blessings when you don't be a good when you're not a good person. And, just no matter what's going on in your life today, continue to be a good person. And if people don't appreciate that, that is their loss, not yours. Good people should never have a door slammed in their face. And people that do bad things, like Travon deals with daily, listen, those people don't need a door slammed in their face, because if you give up on someone that's made a mistake, it only makes sense for them to continue to do it, right? If they feel like nobody loves them and nobody cares and nobody wants them, that is going to be a recipe for them to continue down that evil path. So, love each other up, be a good person, and don't let other people's views, opinions, thoughts, and actions towards you affect the way that you love yourself. You need to love yourself from the inside out. That is the only way to do it. If you love yourself from the outside in, you're going to need every day for people to build you up. And that's not always going to happen. You got to love yourself from the inside out. You gotta be good to yourself. And, sometimes being a good person doesn't mean you're going to get what you want. And sometimes in life, things make absolutely no sense. And you will rack your brain stressing yourself out. Like Travon said, all I did was give myself a headache, and I don't want headaches anymore. And I feel that 1,000,000 infinity% this morning. Be good to you, love yourself up, and stop giving yourself headaches. And stop letting other people give them to you. We'll take a step aside for a fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We got so much show coming up for you. That was only the first interview of the week. And dropped the mic so far. I don't even know where it is. So, but we'll get it. We'll figure it out, and we will have coming up here within the next half hour, Jaro Zawislan in a very special Dolphin Dive as he joins me with a conversation following their game over the weekend for the Moyne Dolphins women's soccer team. And then we'll have a video Bobcat Buzz special with Nick Dimitrievski, the head coach of the men's soccer team at Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse, as the Bobcats were in action over the weekend. So a lot of great stuff coming up, keeping it local and bringing you positive people with positive messages. That all comes up after this fast break inside the Cafe Kubal Studios. This is Wake Up Call, and this is where sports meets life. And I am so thankful that I was sitting in the studio today to hear those words from Travon. God bless. I'm going to take them everywhere I go. You should too. We'll be back after this. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for, to be listened to, and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, Physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com.
This is Dan Tortora back here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios with Jaro Zawislan after the Moyne game over the weekend here where they had Southern New Hampshire come into town at Ted Grant Field. Jaro, first and foremost, how are you?
Doing well. We had better soccer days than today. Today's game is not going to define our team. It's not going to define our season. It's just the first game of the 12 matches that we're going to play in the conference. Credit to Southern New Hampshire University team. They came here with the game plan and they executed well. We've done a pretty good job in the first half to minimize their opportunities. We kept good defensive team shape. The goal that came in for the opponents was the type of the goal that is preventable. But overall, in the first half, we did a pretty good job of staying compact and minimizing the opportunities for the other team. In possession, we had to improve because when we won the ball, we gave the ball away way too quickly and we expended too much energy on the defensive side of the things. So in the second half, that part started to improve. The game was 1-0 at the halftime. And with the rotation that we had and improvements that we made in possession, there was a slight of a shift of the momentum at that time. And we felt that we were getting to the good point in the game where we started creating good sequences, good possessions, and we were getting more and more opportunities in attacking third of the field. But that's what happens when you start pushing the numbers up. You open up yourself to that possibility of the second goal being scored. And that's how the game opened up late in the game.
For you, your biggest positive takeaways that you can take from a game like this? I know you were talking to the team that this wasn't a 3-0 game and that a lot of these things are preventable, and that in the first half you said, I'll take 0-0, I'll take 1-0 because of how the team was playing at that time. So what are the most positive takeaways you can build upon?
Yeah, we found out a lot about ourselves in this game. There was a very good test for our players, both individually and as a group. We know that if we stay compact in defensive team shape, it will be very tough to break down. In possession, we do have to improve when we have a ball, so we don't lose it that quick, and we don't expend too much energy on the defensive side of the things because that's going to snowball in the wrong direction for us. If we're going to keep chasing the ball for too long of periods of times, then of course at some point or the other the fatigue is going to kick in with individual players, and that's going to affect the technical execution in possession. So it's kind of a double whammy there, where not only you don't hold on to possession, now you expend the energy and the fatigue level increases, and the next time you have much harder time executing the things in possession. I think there's still positives to take out of the game. the result is definitely not what we like and what we are looking forward to deal with. But players know there's a quick turnaround to the next game. Next conference game is on Tuesday. So tomorrow we'll take a day to look at the video, have a training session, fix the things that we have to fix before Tuesday's game. And then on Monday, we'll focus a little bit more in preparation for that particular opponent, Tuesday's opponent, and for that game.
You look at the fact that you were brought onto this team close to the season. You're 4 games in, 2 wins, 1 loss, 1 tie. What have you taken from these 4 games overall?
From the beginning of the preseason, when we walked into this environment, we right away felt that the group is a good character group. They are coachable. They want to keep improving day in and day out. And they know it's going to be work in progress all the way through the season. The goal every day is to be a better team at the end of the day than we were at the beginning of the day. And we are going to be a better team by the end of today, by tomorrow, because even though it's a loss, we'll have to take certain positives out of this game. And also, the game like that against challenging opponent emphasizes certain things that maybe we were aware of going into the game, but that just emphasize certain aspects of the game that we have to continue to keep improving.
And coming from Jaro Zawislan, the head coach here for Moyne women's soccer, as always, Jaro, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dan.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Dan Tortora here with the head coach of Bryant Stratton's men's soccer team, Nick Dimitrievski, here of Syracuse. Nick, how you doing?
Good.
And you're coming off the game 4-1, a victory at home here. Just what you can say about your first initial thoughts coming after the game.
They were a top team. They were national champion runners-up in the junior college last year, and we tied them actually last year. So we were ready for it. We've only been in camp for 2 weeks, so we're trying to get our legs underneath us. But I was very, very excited for our guys, what their potential was. That first half, they were dynamite. They were explosive. It was 4-0 until we made a mistake. It was 4-1, and we ended the game 4-1.
At the end of this game, you're talking with your team, and you get a victory, and obviously when you come off of a victory and you still find those pieces to make yourself better, what did you see? Like you said, you were up 4-0, you gave up that goal. So are there pieces that you want to work on after this?
Yeah, I said to them at halftime, I go, our discipline needs to be better and not put ourselves in dangerous situations and give them the opportunity. And, they're tired, and they made those same mistakes. So I'm nitpicking, but when it comes to a championship team, those are the things we got to get out of our system. So we'll work on it. But again, the potential is right there, is huge.
And for you, like you said, only having a little bit of time to get your legs under you, where do you see the capability of this Bryant Stratton Syracuse men's soccer team going?
Yeah, I'm still missing 4 big players. They're coming in this week. The potential is there to win another championship. But we just got to iron out the bugs. But that first half, boy, it looked like a championship team.
And what was it? What were those components that to you had that championship caliber to it?
Explosive, together, strong, unwilling, responsible, winning every ball.
And when you have the opportunity to have doubleheaders like this where you can be at home on Jones Road and have your team and the women's team playing, just what that does for the community and why the community should come out.
Yeah, no, it's great. We're the hidden giant here, 2 quality. The girls won the national championship last year, so did we. It was a great opportunity to see quality soccer, and it's a great opportunity for us to support the girls and them to do the same.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios where sports meets that thing called life. Cafe Kubal here on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, New York, inside of their double-decker cafe on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners for their drive-through location. Make sure you head out there today, fill your cup up right, and let them know that Wake Up Call sent you their way as you continue to support our community by supporting our wonderful local businesses like Cafe Kubal and all the great companies that we have the opportunity to work with. Speaking of great people that I have the opportunity to work with, one of those great people in my corner now for many, many years, I believe we got to have hit a decade or so at this point, but Joe Adam was the offensive line coach at Syracuse. That's how we met each other. And then he went off to St. Anselm and has the team with a 2-0 start for this season. Joe has, listen, when it comes to recruiting, when it comes to, coaching and breaking things down and caring about the kids and going the extra mile, there are so many things that he does so very well. And he's just, he's a man of God, strong in his faith, unapologetic about that, puts that out there to the world. There's so many good things that Joe brings to the world that I am always excited to share with everybody and always happy to have him on the show. He is an inspiration. He is a great friend. He is there for you whenever you need him and always somebody that'll get in touch with you if you somehow miss his call or he misses yours. So I'm happy they're 2-0, but above all things, I'm happy to call him a friend. So let's bring him back to the show. Mr. Joe Adam, how are we today?
Dan, how are you doing, man? Great to hear from you.
Yeah, man, I'm doing good. I'm happy for you and what's going on here. I got the picture up of you holding up the deuces, so I like seeing that. I like seeing my people succeeding. I love seeing people succeed all over the world. And when it's a friend, it feels different. You know that. So what can you tell me about? You've put so many years, so much work into St. Anselm. You came in, you said, listen, like this is going to take time. You were building a culture, building an environment, building it with faith, building it with family, building it from whatever it was to whatever you need it to be. All of these things take time. You have put so many years in. So people see 2-0, but they don't see the many years, the blood, sweat, and tears, and all of it that goes into it. I would love for you to tell that story of this passion project, essentially, of you coming into St. Anselm, seeing what it could be, and then working toward making it so?
Passion project is probably a pretty good term for it. It has been a little bit of time now, and so nothing great is going to come quick, unfortunately. This is not Division 1A football where I can dip into the transfer portal, go to find 30 players, and get a bunch of new coaches and roll. So
yeah,
it's a little bit of a different build. I knew that, and I just kind of prayed every day that God would give me the grace and the understanding to do this. And so there were some dark times, but now we're in a good patch. And I think it really starts with my athletic director, Darren Montgomery, who has stood by my side for, the last 6 years. And, I believe iron sharpens iron, and he's challenged me, and I've challenged him in various ways to do things that they've never been able to do here, and to think in ways that this college has never thought about football and athletics. And so that's starting to come to fruition, and you're seeing it across the board in all of our sports, and they're really, really highly competitive in the Northeast. So I owe a lot of our success to that guy, and just our campus community getting behind us, and our coaching staff, who's been tireless workers, tremendous recruiters, builders of men, guys that do all the morally things right that you'd expect a man of character to do, and they've been great leaders to our young guys, and as our younger guys have gotten more birthdays and stuck with us, they've gotten better and better and better. And so, this is a game, Dan, of confidence and chasing reps. And so it's really hard as in any level of sport to, roll out as a true freshman and be the guy. And so we've now built this to the point where, we're saying the other day is like, hey, I remember in the early days where we had, 14, 15 guys who are true freshmen in the 2 deep. And right now we're rolling with one true freshman in our entire offense and defensive 2 deep. So that has been the biggest factor. Guys having reps, chasing reps with what we do, how we do it, how we teach it, how we expect it to be executed. That has been probably the biggest change. And then now with a couple of spring balls under your belt, and just believing in your systems and fitting the players into the pieces of the system, which has been, I think, another key coaching point here of not being, stubborn with, hey, this is what we do and this is what we run, and, just trying to accentuate the roster and play to the strengths of the roster. That has gotten a lot of guys to buy into what we're doing wholeheartedly. And I challenged a group yesterday. You accept your role and execute until your role changes. And that's how it works here. So if you're the backup right now, we expect you to be the best backup in the league. If you're the starter, we expect you to push and keep going. And if you're a guy that hasn't got any time, put your head down and practice harder. And so they've really understood that. They've really embraced that. I think that's why we're having some success right now.
Yeah, and I love this because, your story is something that, I've been with you since the moment you walked into St. Anselm. And so I know that, this has been a long time in the making that, we see a team start out 2-0 and to have, this positivity. And like you said, it's about that confidence, right? If you do anything in life without confidence, you falter because you have to be your biggest fan. Sometimes you feel like you're your only fan, but you have to have that in order to be successful. I said at the beginning of the show, happiness has to come from the inside out. So how have you navigated to go through all of these seasons and all of these years? I love the way you put it. Our guys have had more birthdays under them now. I love that that's how you described, obviously them getting older and maturing and whatnot. How have you gotten through this? Because most people going through a dark tunnel without a match and not seeing the light at the end of it, they stop, right? They get scared, they run, they sit down, they cry, they try to go back the other way. What made you continue to walk through the tunnel when maybe other people couldn't see the light?
I think there's a couple of things. My wife, who's been with me for the long haul here, is hugely supportive, and I think behind every great coach is a great woman, and so that's been a huge key, because coming home after the early days where the game's over at halftime and you're questioning your coaching ability, that stability at home and that unconditional love has been awesome, that she provides and has gotten me through some of those tough times. Obviously, my faith, in the thought process of, God's going to put obstacles in front of us, but He's never going to put more than we can handle. And I've told that to some of our players here who are either struggling through some things or, struggling through injuries. Like, hey, man, God has a plan. He's not going to give you more than you can handle, and He's going to give you just enough. And so, those things and just believing in what we do and having some great coaching friends who have just continued to reach out and say, hey, you're on the right path, just keep doing what you do, and keep believing in what you believe. And so that's kind of how it's come to fruition. So I've been very pleased with the first 2 weeks, and we haven't won anything yet. We haven't arrived or anything like that. We're just trying to get our very best and go 1-0 every week.
Joe Adams, St. Anselm football head coach for the Hawks, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. How do you see victory when you're not winning?
You have to redefine what you consider successful. Right. And I've told this as I've reached out, I'm getting into kind of a mentoring role as far as being a coach for 27 years and, having young coaches reach out to me, and even our coaches here, when you don't have a roster that's built, and that's no detriment to the guys that were here before or administration, whatever, it's just timing. Football and timing go hand in hand. And you have to redefine what your definition of success is as a head coach. Sometimes it may be, hey, everybody showed up to lift this morning. That's a success. I'm talking about small victories here now.
Yeah.
And so, hey, everybody wore the same thing at the pregame meal, right? We had to get to that point to get to where we are right now. You can't hop to the finish line without going through the struggle. So that's what happened, and so obviously you have high expectations as a football team, as a coach, and, we're in this game to compete. And this happens to be this particular group, which is, strong, which is built, which is older, which is the largest team in this school's history ever in this sport. Those are the things that all have contributed to, our success now.
And see, like, I love that when you talk about you have to redefine success, right? You have to redefine what it means to you and to go through this and little victories, like you said, everybody wearing the same thing, people showing up on time, being there, being prepared, being ready. I love talking with you, Joe, and Travon Burke started off the show with me, and he is doing incredible work working at a detention center, believing in kids, and believing in, well, not just kids, but people in general, believing in people that the world has already thrown away. And so, to start the show off with, hey, you have to go through adversity. There's no way around it. I'm a firm believer in this, and you and I have talked about this in ways before, but I tell people this all the time. I know this from my personal life. And Travon gave us so many great words at the beginning. The fact that you guys are bookending this, if God could be any more clear to me in the last few days, He would be a crystal clear window. I mean, it's even the way this show has started and how it's concluding today. But I've said this before. In life, God gives you tests. When you run away from them, He gives you them again. When you take them and you don't pass them, He gives you them again. And I can point to times like going back to high school where I'm like, God gave me the test 4 or 5 times and I had to keep taking it. And I would tell him, no, I don't want to take it. And it would show up in like dating a girl. And then that same type of message would show up in a job that I had. And then it would show up in a friendship. And you keep taking these tests until you pass them. What can you say to that with you having such a strong faith and it's paramount in the center of what you do? What would you say to people that are saying, you know, Joe, Dan, I feel like God keeps giving me the same thing every few months or every couple of years. I keep going through it. Because I look at these people and I go, he's given you the test and you ran out of the classroom and you didn't take it, or you took it and you need to get a better grade on it. And I feel like people don't get it until they get it, that you feel like you're in Groundhog Day, not because God threw you in this like whirlwind that you can't get out of, but you're in Groundhog Day because as a coach, as a broadcaster, as a human being, as a husband, wife, whatever it may be, there's something in your life that you cannot pass go and collect $200 until you do this thing. So I'd love to get your thoughts on that.
You know, as human beings, we think we can fix everything.
Yeah.
Right. We can fix our friends. We can fix ourselves, and you know that's unfortunately not the case. Right. And so, or we self-soothe with things that aren't good for us.
Yeah.
Right. And the strength that I have, you know, that I'm trying to pass on to my team is that this strength and this belief and this value system. And, you know, we get to wake up every day, man. And we get to, you know, do this. We get to breathe. I mean, I'm talking about the smallest things in life we get to do. We get to do these things because of the grace of God. So, you know, when things aren't going your way, what I would challenge somebody is like, hey, you know, don't lean on your own understanding, right? Go to the source of the real power. And so if you keep failing because you're trying to fix it, well, you know, God's going to put things in your life that are good for you, and he's going to take out the things that are bad. You know what I mean? And if your soul wasn't worth much, then the devil wouldn't be after it. So, you know, that's what I would say is just don't, you know, as much as he's seeking you out, you know, you have to seek him out too, and having this relationship. And I tell my team all the time, I wish you guys could have the joy and peace that I have in my own life. And that's what I want for them, regardless of football. And, you know, it's been a real blessing to have the church community I have here. They were at our first game, big community group. So it was fun, and I just keep pouring into that every single week, and try to do it every single day.
Joe Adams, St. Anselm head football coach and a great friend of mine, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora here inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Joe, people see the success, right? People see it after the fact. And I've said this plenty of times on the show that it's important to talk about what you've been through when you are successful so that people know and they're not just watching you going, oh, wow, you know, Dan, your company's 10 years old. You know, you've been broadcasting for almost 9 years. 19 years, pardon me. Your company is over a decade old. You get to go all over the world. You get to talk to all these people. This is great, this and that, whatever. And I'll come on the show sometimes and say, I was bullied in the workplace. I was bullied in my marriage. I was bullied in relationships. I've been through physical abuse. I've been through verbal abuse. I've been through lying, cheating, and stealing. I've been through feeling like the devil and I were nose to nose in a ring. So, you know, like I've seen that, and people say, why do you talk about it? Why would you tell people you're bullied? Why would you tell people, you know, you went through, tough relationships? Why would you admit to the world when you've been wrong? And I said, because somebody watching and listening today may be on that cliff, ready to jump, thinking everybody's life is together. Look at Dan's life's together. Joe's life is together. Pete, Bob, Sue, Stacy, everybody's life looks great except for mine. And I look at those people and I say, do you understand how many times I've gone on the air after I've cried? I've gone on the air after I felt like I couldn't get out of bed. I went on the air after, I remember the weekend of the end of my marriage officially, and I remember the day that my ex-wife walked out of the house after something she did that I was like, okay, that's enough. And I remember saying to myself, I got up that morning and people said to me, how did you get on the air? And I said, she had taken so much from me, she's not going to take what I love. And I got on the air that morning and I did my show, and they're like, how did you function? How are you not just like sitting there crying and this and that? I said, because I do what I love and I love what I do, and she can't have me, and I have to give this. And Joe, that Monday and that Tuesday, I got messages from people as I shared adversity in a broad sense, and I made it personal, but I also made it broad, and I talked about, you know, getting through adversity and believing yourself, getting up in the morning, not quitting on who you are, not letting outside influences prevent you from loving yourself. And I got messages about someone with his mom. I got a message about someone with their child. And I remember sitting there going, you know what? God woke me up today and gave me the strength to go on the air. Not for me, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it helped me. Yeah, like there was a part of that, but it's like if I didn't go on the air and I didn't face my adversity, then these people wouldn't have written into me to tell me about their problems and feel like they weren't alone. And I'll never forget saying, getting up that morning when I was proud of myself for doing it, ended up making people in the world feel like, hey, Dan, this is my issue, this is my problem, and what I heard from you today can apply to me, and I'm going to use it. And I just remember sitting there in the studio saying, God worked through me on one of the toughest days of my life. Mm-hmm. Like those moments, Joe, I don't know how to describe them, but like I said, everybody sees success, but they don't see the blood, sweat, and tears to it. I know what you're going to become because I believed in you from the moment I met you. I know where this is heading. I know you're a coach. You take it day by day, game by game, week by week, and I totally get that, and it's not coach speak because I say that myself with things in life, but I know where you're heading, and I would love for you to share this morning with people what it's been like to be on this road and what people don't see, because they look at 2-0 and go, yeah, strong start. Let's keep it going. Let's rock. Let's roll. It looks like it's coming together. But they don't see the iceberg, right? Everybody sees the tip of the iceberg, but they don't see what's underneath the water. And I'd love for you to share that.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, in today's society with everything social media driven, like, you know, you can look at things and be like, man, this is great, and all everything's going well, and you know, but we're human beings, man. We have, you know, there's emotional stuff, there's stuff. We just have people have stuff, and so we have to deal with that stuff. And so one thing I'll tell you about this journey is, you know, we joke, me and offense coordinators, like about the amount of hats you have to wear as a coach. Yeah. And so, you know, like we have to help our players through and guide them not only through the X's and O's, how to practice, you know, what the expectations are in the classroom, you know, study expectations. Hey, how can I be a good community member? How can I impact our campus community? Like, it's almost like having a hat rack and wearing 12 different hats and then just deciding which one you're going to wear at that particular time. You know, guys not happy about their playing time or whatever that may be, you have to manage all that. So it's been a lot to manage. I will give you that. You know, you have to understand the small victories before you feel like it's going to turn. And so the thing I'm most proud of with the group is, you know, we're playing good complementary football, and we're not beating ourselves. And I do come from the thought process that most games are lost, not won, and make a team out execute you. And so, you know, we've been able to out execute our opponents in the first two games, and that's really what we're striving to do. And we're putting our focus on that. So has it been a journey? Yeah. Where will God have me down the road? I don't know, you know? And so, you know, I know that I have a passion for coaching. I have a passion for developing people. I have a passion for leadership. And I have a passion for doing things the right way. And, you know, it was a great kind of message and text I shared with Tim Doust right before camp. And, you know, he said personally to me, he's like, man, I know you're doing things the right way. And, you know, and so at the end of the day, when you look at the resume,
you know you treated people the right way. You know you challenged them to be their very best. And at the end of the day, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, and I love that you mentioned Tim Doust. I mean, somebody that I appreciate and, love him, love his family, always hoping the best for him. And, just a good guy. I remember being at practice, being at camp, and I loved going over to the D-line because I loved hearing him talk to them. And he would push them and he'd give them tough love, but he'd joke and he'd swear and then he'd be positive, and you got to know his personality, and it was, to me it was so awesome, and I'm happy to hear that you guys still converse. I mean, him, Acosta, DeAndre, Clark Lee, Chuck Bulla, Tim Lester, and so on and so forth. I mean, there's so many great people, and Shafe and Wolf and all that. They come from that staff, and some of the best people that I've met in my life, and that I can lean on because of that staff that was at Syracuse. I want to go back to some history because I'm an October baby, and I was born October 21st. The first game that you won at St. Anselm was on October 22nd, the day after my birthday, 6 years ago in 2016. And it was against Pace. And then you had another victory against Pace on my birthday in 2017. So I got a couple questions for you. Number one, why do you like winning so much on my birthday? And number two, why are you always beating up on Pace?
Well, I know Coach Rondo is head coach at Pace. He does an excellent job, and they got our number a little bit a few years ago, but it just ended up being we played them later in the year, and so we're fortunate to get that win. I'm actually in my office right now staring. I have a game ball from that game encased with a plaque on my first win. So also my first win as a head coach when I was at Elmhurst College. So I guess I'm pretty lucky on your birthday, and so and it's pretty close to my birthday, which is the 26th. So unfortunately, I never really get the chance to celebrate or have any parties during the fall because we're coaching. And so it's just kind of how the thing shakes out.
Yeah, I'm looking at it in my birthday weekend coming up this year. You're going to be at Post October 22nd, Saturday at 6 p.m. in Waterbury, Connecticut. So, just birthday time, good stuff. I'm excited about it. The history is there, and hopefully things continue to go well on the way to that game. I know you're going game by game. What is it about this 2022 roster, and this, like you said, biggest roster you've had at St. Anselm, biggest they've ever seen? What can you tell me about the makeup, the culture, everything that you were trying to build 6 years ago? What does that look like today in 2022?
I was really, and I'd be really remiss if I didn't talk about this, with Fred Reed passing away this past off season. Yeah. I've really kind of honed in on something that was kind of like, I don't know if you want to call it a Fredism or a Fred Reed piece. And he always said the standard is the standard. And so I was just talking about that actually yesterday in the weight room, with one of our players and just talking. And I find myself been saying that a lot, since Fred passed away. And maybe it's a piece of him that I'm continuing to carry around, and so I think about that often. And so for us, that is the right thing. The standard is the standard. So, I've got some older guys. Our quarterback's a tremendous football player. We have some older running backs that are pretty good players, and then just a plethora of wide receivers and tight ends who can catch the ball and who are core guys. And so we're dispersing the ball at a good clip. And, our offensive line is playing solid. And then in defense, it's really by committee. We have a couple older guys that have been with me for a while, but, it's all about, for us, it's all about we, not me. And that's the one thing that I can tell you about this team. It's all we and not me.
it ain't about our stats. It ain't about your personal tackles. It ain't about, your shine. It's about us. And those guys have really embraced that. And then, as injuries come, it's a next man up mentality. And I have a really, really strong leadership group that we have developed that I, met with in the off season and talked about leadership and talked about how we handle things and what's our response to certain, situations. And so those guys have done a tremendous job, and I give them all the credit for that. We provide the coaching platform, but, it's taken me a long time to believe this, that, the success and the failure of the players is themselves. It's on their own, and I know we take a lot of heat as coaches, and, we get all the praise when they win and we get all the heat when they lose, but, we're going to provide the coaching platform. The bottom line is the player or the student athlete going to take the necessary steps for them to be successful and consistent? And if you have a group of guys that will do that, then you should be consistent. You should perform at a high level, and that's the difference here now. So those guys are drinking the Kool-Aid every day. We're mixing it, and my leadership group is handing out the cups. So we've been very fortunate that way.
You're so humble, and all these positive words and awesome messages come right off the cuff. And Joe, I mean, I'll do a long intro saying who you are to me, how much I love and I appreciate you, and you'll be like, thank you. But I mean, but seriously, Joe, I mean, you have been on and off the air a fantastic friend to me. You've been there for me. You have seen me through so many trials and tribulations. So if your coaches, if your coaching staff, your family, your extended family, your players have anything that I've had over the years, I know they're in good hands. And I genuinely, I can't thank you enough that you've been a lifeline for me in so many ways, in so many times, through so many things. And I just want to say thank you.
I appreciate that, man. And I thank you for giving me a platform and being a great friend to really spread some positivity and accountability in the world. And so you combine those two things and you should be pretty good. And so we're I know, like I said, Coach B, we're taking it 1 week at a time, and I'm going to challenge guys to execute at a higher level. I'm going to challenge them to get better grades and and continue to change our campus community. And we've done a great job together in that sense, and I think people are starting to notice us, and and understanding what the core of our group is, what we believe in, and when you're doing things the right way, people want to be part of that, and so that's been a blessing in itself.
That coming from Joe Adams, St. Anselm head football coach on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Your first two wins of the season, first two games of the season, starting off 2-0, were both at home in your stadium. You have to go to your first road contest this Saturday, September 17th at 6 p.m. Eastern time, and celebrating my first two dogs' birthdays, Mordo and Cinnamon. That's their day, Saturday, September 17th. So a good day to be out there, and definitely excited for it. What can you say about the uniqueness of having your first road contest? However, you're not leaving the state of New Hampshire.
Right. I mean, it's nice. It's a little over an hour drive, so that's great. So I have to spend 15 hours on the bus or anything like that. But it's a business trip, and we're going to have that mentality going into it. We have this thought process of keeping it loose, and then knowing when we need to lock the thing in. So I'm pretty, I don't know, I'm pretty mellow, I guess, on game day mornings now. I've kind of not gone away from the ranting, raving, and yelling and stuff. So maybe it's me getting a little bit older, but we keep it loose, man. We keep it fun, and then when it's time to lock in, our guys know when to lock in. They're professionals. So we just went over our travel pieces this morning in our staff meeting, and how we're going to do things and who gets what and the workflow of everything. So we feel like we're in good shape right now, and now we'll finish our plans and our practice plans and our game plans coming up tonight and tomorrow morning, and then try to execute it throughout the week. You beat an opponent from Sunday to Friday.
Yeah.
And it's that work that you do from Sunday to Friday that's going to really count, so that you can play, loose and fast on Saturdays. And so that's the recipe that we've designed here, and the guys are executing it pretty flawlessly right now.
Why is coaching fun for you?
I think for me, it's the competition. The one thing you'll have to understand about athletics and football in general is it is surrounded by a bunch of just flat competitors. Like, I'm a competitor. I like to compete in anything. I'm surrounded by coaches that are competitors. I'm surrounded by kids that are competitors.
Tortora, inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, hanging out with you where sports meets life.
Winning the game, that's a great feeling for a guy that's competitive nature. And so, that's a part of it. And then taking something that, that you found and making it better than it was, and that goes into the players' lives. But, I want to mentor the coaches. I want to mentor our players. I want our coaches to have a great family experience. They can have their kids, their girlfriends, their wives around here and not feel like, oh, wow, we're at work, we can't do that. Like, I'm not going to be about that. And so I want them to share that joy and happiness with their families, and not to make it so serious all the time. And for our players is just to challenge them to competitive greatness in every part of their lives. We're going to challenge them to be the best student, the best, family member, the best teammate, the best football player, the best campus community member. And we're going to challenge them to do that on a consistent basis. And that's why I got into coaching. So coaching, whether it's the CEO of a company or the head coach of a program or a position coach, be the captain of the ship and take accountability and put the right people in places and see how this thing shakes out.
Yeah, coming from Joe Adam here. Joe, you brought up Fred Reed, a good friend of yours, good friend of mine. A reminder to people that when you're like, oh, I should call them, oh, I should text them. And, Joe, I struggle with it because I have some friends in recent history here that last time I saw them, all positive stuff, hug, love you, see you soon, whatever. And they haven't returned my text messages in months, haven't returned a phone call. And I sat with my mom yesterday and I go, I don't know how to deal with it. And she said, well, Dan, if you know you haven't done anything, then you can sleep at night and you understand that, things just happen. I can't be that person. I don't like when I haven't gotten back to somebody. It bothers me. And when it comes to Fred, there was a night and I was dating somebody at the time this past Easter. And I remember she had gone to sleep and I was sitting up and it was 10 o'clock at night. And I said to myself, do I send these messages out? Normally every holiday I try to reach out to as many people as I can while also being present with the people I'm with. And, so you and like Tim Lester, Tim Dowse, DeAndre and Bobby and Fred, like all these people that I, like to say, Happy Easter, Merry Christmas and whatnot. And I sat there and she was asleep and I said, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I want to go to bed, but I can't, go to bed without reaching out to these people. That ended up being the last message that I sent and received from Fred. And it hit home to me so much that if I didn't say Happy Easter, I wouldn't have gotten that, and the last message I got back to him, very simple, Happy Easter. And I look back on moments like that. And so it's kind of a two-parter here, Joe, is how imperative and important is it to reach out to people? And what do you do when you do everything in your life to be a good person and you don't hear back from the people that you care about?
Well, I struggle with that because, the first part of your question, we're working 80, 90, sometimes 100 hours a week here, and so, we're in the building yesterday for 14 hours. And so you're so locked into the journey.
Welcome
right?
here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the
restaurants are not sports bars. Hey, I got to call my kids. I got to call my mom. I got to call my coaches. Hey, what's my buddy doing? You track scores. You see how they're playing. You may share an idea with a coach and say, hey, I got this set. What'd you like against this? So on and so forth. So I know the guys that are tight within my circle. I don't worry about like if I don't talk to them for 4 or 5 weeks. And so if it's somebody that you reach out to and you don't get that reciprocated, well, I do believe that God brings people in and out of your life at certain times. And so people that I was tight with at Syracuse, whether it be friends, neighbors, coaches, that don't want to reciprocate communication, then I got to move on. It's not an ill will or anything like that. It's just that, at that certain time and that certain place that, we were all together. And then as lives change, different groups change and different friendships change. So, sometimes friendships have to move on and sometimes they get stronger. So it's just a matter of how the whole thing works out. So it's not, like I said, it's not, I've had plenty of these where it's like, hey, I don't really talk to that guy anymore, or I really don't talk to that person anymore because, at some point after 3 or 4 calls or messages, you just get, time is a very valuable thing as you get older. And, when you're young, time is like infinitive, right? So when you get a little bit older, you value time a heck of a lot more. I know I do with my time now. And so I'm gonna choose my time wisely. I'm gonna do what I want to do, and and if that includes people or doesn't include people anymore because of where we're at, then so be it. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. And I think that was something, that's been hard for me recently, is I got hit with a lot of that at once, of like just seeing people not reciprocate and knowing like I've done nothing to them. And I told my mom, I'm such a logical person that, I'll be like, yeah, but Ma, nothing happened. And she's like, yeah, well, but what can you do? And, you can only be the best person that you can be. But me, Joe, we're cut from the same cloth. I'm a bridge builder. I'm not a bridge demolisher. So when I'm out there building things and things are working, and 6 years here and 10 years there and 18 years there and this and that, when you come back to a bridge that you've been walking over forever and then someone's like, no, don't want to walk on it anymore, it always leaves me going, why? But you just said something imperative. Time is precious. So if you try 3, 4, 5 calls, text message, and you don't hear anything back, you pray for them, you wish them well, but you understand that you're not going to spend the rest of your life running down a dark alley with nothing there. So
true.
That coming from,
hey, like I tell the players, fail fast and move on.
Yeah. Joe Adam here, man. One day, and I'm convinced of this, Joe and DeAndre are gonna be at a cigar bar somewhere, and they're gonna find the perfect woman for me. That's what's gonna happen, because I gotta tell you, I need to smoke more cigars with my guys, and I need to stop meeting crazy people. But so Joe and I having a good time. Listen, 2-0 to start out the season. St. Anselm Hawks, very proud of all the work you're doing, and what St. Anselm gets to reap the benefits of here over the years in these last couple games. Hoping for good things. We're early on in the season. Joe will be back, but more than anything else, Joe, I appreciate your faith in God, our friendship, and the fact that a text message or a call to you is always well received, no matter how busy we are. You have always been there for me, and you've kept your word. And in this life, I will appreciate that more than anything else. So thank you.
Appreciate it, man. And thanks again for having me on, and look forward to a great week of preparation and watching our guys fly around to practice, and hopefully putting the finishing touches on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like you said, you beat a team Sunday through Friday, so we will watch and see what St. Anselm has cooking up this week on Saturday, September 17th, on the road at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. As always, Joe, God bless. Thank you for everything, and I will talk with you soon.
Talk soon, Dan. Take care.
Take care. That coming from Joe Adam here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be back right after this to wrap up the show.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Café Cubal needs. Café Cubal, coffee for the soul.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5, Camillus, where you will find handcrafted all-natural soy wax candles over 60 cents to freshen up your home. We carry a wide range of locally made items, Cuse, Syracuse Salt, and Chocolate Pizza Company, to name a few. Let our knowledgeable staff help choose unique gifts and keepsakes for any occasion. Gifts for family and friends, and maybe a little something for yourself. Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5, Camillus.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Café Cubal studios. Want to thank you all for being a part of the broadcast and thank all of my fantastic partners here as we are live for you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where sports meets that thing called life, on Facebook.com, YouTube.com, and MixLR.com, all / Wake Up Call DT, on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage, and on and on Facebook.com / Live Now DT as well. So make sure you're tuning into the show every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. A big thanks to our Central and Upstate New York partners and beyond: Café Cubal, Carvel DeWitt, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Chick-fil-A Watertown, our newest partner, PB&J's Lunchbox, Honda City of Liverpool, Pizza Man, Avicoli's, Witty Wicks, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Mother's Cupboard, everybody that is here with us. Of course, Carvel DeWitt, our longest standing partner in Central and Upstate New York, and Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora here for you in our archives as well on Wake Up Call on any one of these outlets: Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, TuneIn, Spotify, Stitcher, and YouTube. Search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. And of course, we are very happy to be the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Moyne College Dolphins. It is fins up all day, and all throughout the year with the Moyne College Dolphins. Every Wednesday, we bring you our very special Dolphin Time, Wednesdays at 9 a.m. To start off Wake Up Call exclusively, you get Dolphin content every first and third Wednesday, AD and DT, featuring Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. Every second and fourth Wednesday, you get the Dolphin Dive, diving into the stories of student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. You got a special Dolphin Dive today with Jaro Zawislan, coming off of his game over the weekend, as the team is 4 games in to him being their head coach, and the team is 2-1-1 with a home game coming up this Tuesday, tomorrow, September 13th, that you definitely have to get out to Ted Grant Field for and support the Lemoyne women's soccer team, as well as all of the sports at Lemoyne. Coming up this weekend, we have a double header of awesome content with a student athlete and with a coach. from the Moyne Dolphins in our special Dolphin Dive. Make sure you check out all of our content by going to the Moyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com, as well as subscribing to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Fins up, and head to LeMoyneDolphins.com for more information. The Bryant Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are not only national champions and have teams that are making it to national tournaments all the way through, but they're also starting off a new program. Baseball is coming to the Bryant Stratton College Bobcats for the first time ever here in Syracuse, New York. We're going to have a bunch of great Bobcat Buzz specials coming up with Sean Peak and his commits. A lot of great stuff coming up here. You just had a special Bobcat Buzz bonus with Nick Dimitrievski that's already available on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, so you can go watch it there. A big shout out to the Bobcats and all that they do. They are with us every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership, bringing you the Bobcat Buzz with student athletes, coaches, and administration. We have given you everything we promised and then some, with a plethora of soccer conversations with the men's and women's team, both reigning national champions. And we'll have baseball coming up. You already had another soccer special coming up, and there's plenty coming up this week too, with a big-time game coming up for the men's soccer team on Wednesday. You should all come out to Jones Road and see it. So very happy and very proud and very thankful. And I do want to let you know the information about that, so you can come out and see the game this Wednesday, September 14th, against last year's national championship runner-up. So a replay of the national championship that Bryant Stratton College of Syracuse men's soccer team won, and the theme is a whiteout this Wednesday, September 14th at 4 p.m. So I hope to see you there at Jones Road at the CNY Family Sports Center. So do not miss out on the event. Very excited for it, and of course I'll be out there supporting the Bobcats here in our community that we love and appreciate so very much. Bobcats coming to you every single month. You can get them on the BSC Syracuse tab on wakeupcalldt.com, and of course you can subscribe to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt for all of our Bobcat content. And for more information on the Bobcats, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com, and as always, go Bobcats. With that being said, find us on Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, the Twitter at CallDT, and Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. For now, from the Cafe Kubal Studios, you are incredible. You are amazing. There's incredible stuff all throughout the studio from Witty Wicks. Get yourself out there. Awesome stuff for fall, awesome stuff for Halloween, awesome stuff for football season. They have doubled, tripled, quadrupled down on all of their amazing, amazing, unique merchandise you won't find anywhere else. So head out to Witty Wicks today, 190 Township Boulevard in Township 5 in Camillus, New York, right in front of Movie Tavern. And I'll talk to you soon. So God bless. No stress. Do your best. And until next time, awesome show coming up for you tomorrow. I'm talking with a World Series champion New York Met from 1986, Mookie Wilson, about his faith and about the World Series and bonding everything back to God. So a lot of great stuff coming up with Mookie Wilson. And in hour number 2, a all-new edition of Tortora and Alford, which is a product of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and Dan Tortora Broadcast Media, where Isaac Alford will join me for the second hour of the broadcast, giving you an entire analysis of Syracuse's 2-0 start, as well as their win over UConn over the weekend, and the ingredients to success, proudly brought to you by Avocolis. A lot of great stuff coming up tomorrow. Can't wait to share it with you. God bless you all. Please leave your stress in the past and do your best always and be the best you can be. I'll talk with you all soon, and I send you all